Right. And now, every now and then, there's a big kind of awkward trolling type episode to do with Good Morning Portugal. Someone sometimes gets quite eggy, and it brings something. I have a reaction to it, and I have a certain process with it that you might, if you've been watching what goes on here for a while now, you'll have seen how it's important to me to engage with some, which what seem like disagreeable and unpleasant comments. And it's really important to me to honor free speech, to honor open communication, to honor hearing people out, and even if they might be rude and upset, to try and understand. Basically, bottom line, the Stephen Covey thing: seek first to understand, and then be understood. So I went through a long process of this, and it was quite awkward, and it was quite upsetting for Mrs. M as well. And there was a massive thread on Facebook. Now, I'm not going to talk about it this morning, I didn't mean it to be a teaser. If you do want to see where we're up to with it, and I think it's resolved, I'm pretty much done with it. We've worked through it, and I have a great what came through for me. And I won't dwell on this too much because it's not a pleasant or happy thing, but I think it's true. And it's very important for this show to not only be the market square where people get their say according to certain ground rules. It needs to be ideally Portugal related. It must be, or it's preferable that it's owned by the person. Now, I'm not interested in debating people for the sake of it. There are other places you can go for that, including social media. I'm like most human beings, I do like to be right, but I try not to put that first. The important thing is it's Portugal related, and that we're having a conversation about something that someone feels is of interest. And it doesn't matter if I agree with them or not. If it's to do with Portugal and it's an interesting thing and they're passionate and they love it and they own it, then they have a space to speak here. I'll do my best to fit them in. And I will also ensure they have to be legal and they have to be respectful. And we've seen people come and go because they can't be respectful. And I can't tolerate anything that's not legal. But the other two considerations are useful. Like, it should be about Portugal. This is the Good Morning Portugal show, after all. It's not the Good Morning America show. It's not the Good Morning UK show. It's not the Goodbye Brexit show. It's not none of those. It's the Good Morning Portugal show. And it's important that people own their stuff, as far as I'm concerned. And that's a slightly nuanced thing because we don't always know whether we're doing that or not. But I'll encourage people to do that. And I'm really not interested in debate. I get into the kind of debatey stuff with Munson and the Geezer, which you can see tonight at 7:00. Oh, and I've got a lovely, lovely new program tonight for you as well. It's the fourth Monday of the month, which means we have Wine and Wine at 8:30. Jackie, are you there? And beforehand at 8, we've got Aviva, who's announcing her new service, which is a fabulous service, and it is an expat support group, a New Beginnings it's called, which is a lovely name. And you can have a new beginning wherever you are in the journey to Portugal, of course, can't you? And I'll be talking to her at 8:00 this evening. Really looking forward to talking to Aviva at 8. Now, going back to egginess and Eggy, who's JMC is asking, what about or not? Yeah, eggs did get broken, that's for sure, for this omelette that was eventually emerged yesterday. And what I want to share, and what I understood in this communication with somebody who was, it started out with them threatening to, I should behave in a certain way, and we should be saying certain things, and I should have challenged somebody who was on the show, and it's to do with Elon Musk and what's going on in the United States at the moment. And what, by the end of it, I mean, and this is to shortcut and summarize a very long and introspective process that went on yesterday, and I was in the right mood for it. I really was, and my wish to understand, I think I honored, which is the most important thing to me, and to give people a hearing, and to observe this as the marketplace. I'll continue to do that, within reason and within the ground rules that I mentioned. This should be a place where people can speak freely according to those ground rules. And what I understood was what is going on in America is grief for people, and I understood that how we were speaking about a certain subject a week or so ago was very cool and indifferent. And for some people who are in the middle of this in the United States at the moment, it's absolutely not cool and indifferent. It's absolutely hot and painful And there's a massive grieving process going on, I think, in the United States. There is a loss of something going on, and it's really hard to be a part of. I mean, it's hard to watch. I'll be honest with you, it's hard to watch. I love America. I love having grown up with the influence. I know that, and I know that they are my own interpretations. I've been to America twice. I'm speaking fancifully, and I'm speaking of my impressions, but I can tell you honestly that I have a great affection for the United States and the culture that's imprinted on me from an early age, and that's what's happened to so many people, isn't it? The imprinting of the American culture is upon us. Wherever we live in the world, it would seem it's like the United States are the Manchester United of countries, right? Wherever you go in the world, everyone's heard of Man United. Wherever you go in the world, everyone is like, America, and whatever they feel about America, whatever their lasting impression or opinion is, they've heard. It's the same with Man United. Not everyone's a Man United supporter, but most people have heard of Man United. Wherever you go in the world, the American imprint is there, isn't it? And now something is happening in the United States, which it would appear no one imagined. As on the webinar last Thursday night, we were talking about things that we'd never thought we would be talking about or saying. And if you backtrack, in retrospect, hindsight is an amazing thing, isn't it? It's 2020 vision. You can see, of course, that's what's happening. It was leading this way, but oh my God, it is actually happening. And it is like grief, and it is like death. It's like something is dying, and when that's happening, it's like, no, it's not meant to be like this, and that is causing terrible pain and reactions for people. And I understand that, and I understand how what seems to be a cool indifference and even humor, sometimes. And I think it's necessary to bring humor. And, some of the things me and the Portuguese say on a Monday night and some of our exchanges online must be inflammatory and difficult and seem rude to people if they're seen out of context or if they're taken out of context. So I apologize for that. And I won't stop doing it. And that's not a threat. It's not me being, clever. I think humor is very important, and I am cool and indifferent because it's not my direct concern. When I think about it, I'm very moved about it, but that's what it takes. I'm not in the middle of it. I'm not having my lifestyle and my directly affected in the way that some people are. And I understand what happens when those two worlds collide, of the heat of pain and grief that's going on at the moment. And when other people, wise guys apparently like me, who should be saying certain things, who should be feeling certain things, who should be representing things in a certain way, don't do it. And I can only represent in the way that I see is authentic and right. I can't change my show and myself to make you feel comfortable. I wouldn't expect you to do that for me. And that's something somebody who is cool, in a cool state and indifferent, can say. It's insane for me to want to have the rest of the world change for my benefit and comfort. That's King Canute, isn't it? That's me trying to stop the waves coming in. The world will never do that, and we will be constantly in pain if we ask the world to change around us. And for those people, they should say certain things and behave in a certain way. They shouldn't be doing that because I feel threatened and unsafe. And if they keep doing it, I'm going to burn their car or their HQ or whatever. And this sort of thing, I understand why it's going on. I don't excuse it, but I do understand it. And that was the big lesson for me yesterday. Anyway, I hope, yeah, and this sort of thing, Man United. Yes, they're a football team, T-Duck. And this sort of thing, this is a good example, really. They themselves, which they don't follow it up. It's, there's a truth in that, but there's a time and a place for everything as well, isn't there? And we don't always get that right. Bon dia from Pam. Man United, very good. John, bon dia, Portugal. And last night I had some cheeky rascal sent me a spring-like greeting. This late last night. John, your name is, not any of the Johns that are already here. But listen to this. I think they'd had talking of a few barrels. This sounds like a few barrels.
Bom dia.
That is
Bom dia.
That is just after the pub, isn't it? That was nearly at midnight last night. Thank you very much, John. I'll get you back with that. A genie, star of the morning. Thank you for acknowledging that many are grieving. It's true. I saw it so clearly, and that you know, that has an effect on people, Jeannie. It's absolutely devastating. I'm now ready to move to Portugal, hopefully within the next year and a half. At your service here, Jeannie, to help. You might find tonight's conversation with Aviva helpful, the New Beginnings Expat Support Group, and our Wine and Wine session. As a member, you're very welcome. Get in touch with me on the number 913-590-303, and we'll make sure as a member you get all the benefits of the Portugal Club as well, Jeannie. It's not just YouTube, it's over there on the Portugal Club as well. So let me know. Make it contact if you want to. If you want the full benefits, 913-590-303. Let's see what we can do to help you in your journey over here. Jeannie, thank you so much. Right, before we go to James at 8:20, there is, and I might be behind the curve on this with this news. This is AIMA's new contact page, the Formulario de Contacto. I'm told it doesn't work completely yet. It has some dead ends in the code, but it's a good start, and I wasn't aware of it. I've got a few loose ends on AIMA to deal with, and it's a very nice looking page, that's for sure. There you go, the Formulario de Contacto. And if I translate that, for those of you who don't speak Portuguese, contact form, fill out the form to create an order, and you can be going in as a, that probably won't apply to many people watching the Good Morning Portugal show, but CLP or residence permit. Once you've gone into residence permit, you have the data change, and then second way. I'm not sure what that means. Data change will probably be the avenue most would want to select on this AIMA contact form. If you haven't seen it, and I don't, second way, what do we think that might mean? We might need a translation on that. Pam, I don't know if you want to help us, but I'll put the, it might be like, boring, Carl, that's such old news. Everybody knows about AIMA's contact form. I wasn't aware of it until it was brought to my attention by Dear Gumper on Friday. So that might be useful to you as an avenue into AIMA. Let me know what you make of that. And I'll be posting that up in the Portugal Club, and people can share their feedback and tips, tactics for that as well. So I hope that helps. There we go. And I think we need to have a look at the weather, don't we, this morning too. Let me take that off the screen. There is the link to it for you. contactenos.aima.gov.pt/contact-form. And T-Duck, the world is not to be put in order. The world is order incarnate. It is for us to harmonize with this order. Oh, my word. You've managed to bring together everything I was trying to say this morning, T-Duck, including the work of, I've forgotten his name now. Let me just, I need to honor him properly, but Mr. Goddard, I've just been so immersed in his work. I've remembered his name. I know Bob and Viv are shouting it out at me behind the scenes there. What's his name? I want to call him Vivian Goddard. Neville Goddard. Finally, Carl. Well done. Neville Goddard is his name. And this is exactly his message, not just Ralph Waldo Emerson's, but you know, it's up to us to get with the program of perfection, isn't it? That is there for us.